so this question is for you. There are numerous countries which have actually implemented restrictions, be it entry or exit. Also, the visa and work permit issuance. They've also tightened the quarantine rules. So these restrictions will almost assuredly impact the international business, travel, and a lot of work assignment plans. So, what do you think? How is the industry responding to this?
I think, Surabhi, I think it's a question that a lot of industry has, but we see this as a short-term impact on the business and the recovery over a longer term. The countries will require investments. There's no two ways about it at this moment. A lot of countries are looking out for inward investments right away, and will also have a lot of policies put in place for making it very easy to acquire such inward investments. Earlier where there was a lot of restrictions or rigidness for the investments to come in, I think it will ease out to support their local businesses. And they will also require that energy of new entrepreneurs entering into the market, which will be very beneficial at this moment. There are likely to be a restriction on work visas, obviously, because they will have to protect the local employment at this moment. But certain travel, like joining families or people getting married cross borders, etc., they are bound to happen irrespective. I mean, even students would be looking into upgrading themselves. So always it's kind of made all of their plans ready. I think there's no stopping to them there. But so other, I think it's quite short term. I think it will recover quite soon from where we are.
Right, I agree. So there are these commonly asked questions which I'd like to ask the both of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think is the impact of the virus from an immigration perspective? Hemang, if you could start first.
Yeah. So as Falguni is saying, and I agree with her that we did a webinar a while ago, which was about whether this is like a hard reset or is it just a short-term blip. And we had a lot of speakers who came in, from the travel and tourism industry, from the legal stream, from leadership training institutes and such. And the general, I mean, the consensus was to say that yes, these are testing times, but they will call for innovation. They will call for people and countries to adapt, because as we ran through in the presentation as well, this isn't the first time we've had something which is adverse. In the human history, we've always had things which are coming in through adversity, and yes, people see a short-term impact of it, but then the recovery comes through. The only question is, how quickly is this recovery going to come through? How confident do we feel about the recovery to come into shape? Because people who make a decision for immigration, so the companies or the high net worth clients or the investors who are making these decisions, they're not making it on the basis of a short-term thing. Also, when we look at what's happening in countries like the US, Canada, UK, this is not like the housing crisis of 2008. This is not a systemic fault in the economy. There is nothing wrong with the economy per se. This is an external factor which has come into being. So the fundamentals in that sense of the economy are still there. In fact, there would be more opportunities which are coming in. So, we read about a lot of companies now taking manufacturing away from China, coming into, other countries and such. So we are likely to see that, there will be countries like India, will benefit from something like this. And if Indian businesses benefit from here, in terms of expansion, for them, expanding the market to the US, Canada, because that's where the destination exports are, kind of a thing, the mobility will have to come back.
Right. Falguni, do you agree with that?
Yes, I do agree with that, and I think it's just matter of time that once I think a lot of companies and number of webinars that we not only hosting but even attending shows that there's a lot of preparations being made by the entrepreneurs, by the business houses, to see the new way of working. given the pandemic, and how would they cope up with what the time loss that they had or the opportunities which could not be executed on time. And I think it's just that as soon as there's a first ray of hope on the things opening up, I think it will just get back to normal.
Right. I agree to that. I think this will end some of the other day. It has to end, and we're just waiting for this actually quarantine to end. It's getting
Yeah.
frustrating. All right. Okay.